this is Karen. Welcome to Red Tent Conversations. In this video, we're going to talk about Yoni steaming. And before we get going too far, please like and subscribe. Please leave your comments. You know, it's a sharing community, so let's do that. I always ask, speak your mind, speak your truth with love. Because you know we can move with that. The truth without love is cruelty, so be respectful of that. All right, so let's get started. So Yoni steaming is an ancient practice. Understanding that women didn't have doctors' offices, 1,000, 2,000 years ago. They did have people that were in what we consider medical profession, but it was a different kind of treatment that was occurring. Women did what they needed to do for themselves in terms of taking care of their vaginal health, and part of that was Yoni steaming. So, what that would help with is infertility, a postpartum recovery, just vaginal care in general. So there are a lot of different conditions that happen to women in that area, and the way that it worked is they understood the herbs based on the land and the region that they were in, and they would use those herbs to take care of their feminine hygiene as well as those other conditions. So basically they would prepare the herbs, and there's a couple key things you want to make. If you choose to do this, you want to make sure that you're using a high quality herb. You want organic. Again, you don't want to use something that's going to cause you more harm than good, right? So you want to do the research to find out. There are actually places where you could go, and you go into a location and they prepare the herbs for you, and you can do the steaming in that location. If you choose to do it at home, you can even order it online now, right? So there's different ways that can happen. There are the Yoni pearls as well as the actual steam. With the pearls, you actually insert, and there's a process with that, right? So for me, I think that Yoni steaming as a whole is very good for not only maintaining balance if you need to, if there's something going on down there, but it really also has to do with clearing the energy. If you've had a partner, you have intimacy, and you've had multiple partners, then when you're with a person, it's not just a physical act; it's a spiritual act. And so then you have to think about the physical aspect of what's going on. So deposits are left, and not just physical, but energies as well. So the steaming, actually, the whole process, whether steaming or pearls, is about bringing balance mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So with the pearls, it's a process that takes more time, and so you need more private time to be able to do that, to go through the cycle. So you need a very caring and understanding mate. I find that it's better in between mates and at postpartum kinds of situations, because the understanding is that you need private time to heal your body, and so there's not an expectation for intimacy and things like that. So again, you choose what works best for you. I find that the steaming is an easier way to bring balance without a process of needing to be separate, if that makes sense. So either way, we get back to making sure you have quality products, and that you also, when you do it, tune in to understand there's a ritual, right? So the ritual is, you want to be relaxed. You want to be in a space where you set your intentions. What are you clearing? Because this is another thing that I want to say. If you're in a relationship and you all of a sudden start getting infections, One thing, the assumption might be that somebody's being unfaithful, but it could also be that you've decided that you no longer want this person as a mate. And interestingly enough, if that's how you feel, if you're no longer comfortable with that person being your mate, you could start to get infections because you're rejecting him, right? So physically, because the body doesn't lie, right? The body does not lie. So even mentally, we're like, okay, I think this is what I want to do, but I'm frustrated and I don't trust him, or I have issues, blah, blah, blah. Then that shows up in your body. I mean, literally in your body, wherever it is in your body. So, when you're doing this, it's about clearing that. It's about clearing the distrust. It's about clearing the hurt, harm, the violations, whatever those things are. It can be very, very instrumental in doing that, because again, it's mentally, physically, emotionally is a part of the process. I wanted to looking at my notes just to make sure that I'm touching on everything. The other thing that I want to say here is understanding that we each have a frequency and a vibration. So again, when you have a mate and you're interacting with that mate, then that's part of the reason why we should choose more carefully who our mates are. But that frequency, that energy, that vibration is what's coming together. And that work, when it's working, that's good. When it doesn't, it shows up again in the body. So as a woman, you should be mindful of that and then do the things you need to do to clear your body of any unwanted energies. Especially if you're ending a relationship and before you start another one, because you want to make sure that you are free from all of that other energy and you're not bringing that in to your next relationship. Those that aren't committed and are kind of moving how they flow, then that's a different scenario. That's a different set of circumstances. And obviously there's reasons why a person who's kind of moving that way doesn't want commitment, and that's a whole other thing. A Yoni steam would be very good for that, because it would help you clear out whatever that is that makes you not trust to want to commit anyway. But that's another subject, right? But I think you track with what I'm saying as far as that's concerned. Now, the thing with Yoni steaming, you have to remember that because it is a detox in that area and the way that it works, it causes the area there to open and be more receptive to the herbs and the energy. So this is not something that you want to do when you're pregnant. If you have any blood in the area, and if you have an internal birth control device, because of the way that works, it might promote more bleeding and or cause you to expel the device, and or even your body to contract and cause problems with your pregnancy. So that's very, 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 very important. All right, so at the bottom, I'll list in the comment section. I'll list a summary of things. I'm new to YouTube, so I'm a straight talker about facts and things and circumstances. So I want to balance to make sure that what I'm communicating is appropriate in the general audience content and context. So with that content, my content and the context. So I'll leave those things at the bottom. But again, something very, very beneficial. You definitely should do it in between relationships, preparing yourself for the next relationship. A person should do it if they've never done it. It would be very beneficial just to clear energies of past relationships, and then a reconnecting with ourselves. I also want to mention that people, when they think of that, they think of just Africa. This is not something that's just in Africa. It's in Asian cultures as well. More the continent of Africa, more the Near and Far East. I've not seen much research when it comes to the native peoples here in the United States. I'm not sure how that happened, but I could imagine that would be something that they would do. They didn't necessarily have, it's not a red tent aspect, but they would definitely do what they needed to do to take care of their feminine health. I'm not hearing and seeing much in the European cultures where that shows up. but there's just no evidence to say that they did or didn't. But I'm just saying the again, more ancient, and we understand that the cultures moved into the European regions much later. That's not where everything originated, so I'm not sure how that moved forward. But again, it's not just something from African cultures, and so you can do your research to find that out. It's definitely in the Near and Far East. I think that's pretty much it. I hope I've touched on that. Let's see. What else did I want to say? I guess talked about how to do it. So you definitely want to choose your quality herbs. You can get a stool. I think that I'll put some pictures of some different types of stools, or you can get a basin that can go, over the toilet. And you heat the water. Should be filtered water, and then clean water. Put it with the herbs, and then you'll want to, put a gown or a towel or whatever you do. I would say, whatever it is you use, be something that you could dedicate to the process, so that it's available for you and it's a part of the ritual. Make sure that you cover your feet and your neck, because when you're steaming, and again, you're opening portals, you're opening yourself up. You don't want to get sick. So you want to do the things to cover yourself to make sure that you don't get sick. The average steam should last about 20 to 60 minutes depending on how you're doing it. You can actually have one of the steamers, and so you can set the timer if you're doing that. If you're just doing hot water, then of course it's until the water is no longer hot and the steam is there. Again, I'll put the directions down in the comments, and also a list of the types of herbs that would be beneficial. Again, I hope this helps. This was one of many. Please look at doing it. I think that you'll find it very beneficial. People are a little weird about it. I'm not sure why. You take a hot bath, so why not just do this more specifically focused on that region and that area. So again, I'm Karen. Leave questions, post comments at the bottom. Look forward to seeing you next time on Red Tent Conversations. Namaste.